Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief, Your Excellency Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the Asiwaju of the universe, and the Jagaba of Niger State. I wouldn't say Bargu alone. Very distinguished General Yakubu Gawan, the chairman of today's event, General Olusegun Obasanjo, other past Nigerian president, my brothers, General Abdusalami Abubakar and Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, and the representative of General Muhammadu Buhari, my brother and statesman Nana Akufo-Addo, immediate past president of the Republic of Ghana, former Nigerian presidents, vice presidents, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, Alhaji Namadi Sambo, and Professor Yemi Osinbajo, senators and House of Representatives members present, state governors present and past, our royal fathers present, honorable ministers. I see many of my military colleagues present here, and such superior officers like General Alani Akinriade, captains of industry, here present, my Lord spiritual and temporal, members of the mass media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Your presence here today is not just a matter of convenience, but as testament to the significance of this event. I sincerely appreciate you have taken time from your busy schedule to share this moment of memory with us. Your presence is not just invaluable, it is very essence of this gathering, and I am eternally grateful to your gesture. I salute the President, our President and Commander-in-Chief, His Excellency Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for finding time from his onerous assignment to honor us today. Mr. President, you are able to attend this event today means a lot to me personally. As you know only too well, you have my blessings, prayers, and goodwill in your arduous task of moving our country forward. To all our former presidents and heads of state, your enduring impact on our nation and your legacy is not just a testament to your dedication and service, it is a beacon of hope for our future. I am deeply grateful for your contributions and presence in particular. I cannot sufficiently thank my brother, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, the immediate past president of the Republic of Ghana, for giving us the honor of delivering the keynote address. I am compelled to single out for praise very senior bosses and older brothers, General Yakubu Gawan. His incisive forward to the book is admirable and moving. I'm grateful, sir. General Gawan and my other boss, General Olusegun Obasanjo, who gladly agreed to chair this event, have positively impacted my life. I am also immensely grateful to my other boss and mentor, General T.Y. Danjuma. I'm delighted that I could recall General Danjuma's leadership qualities in my book, both during the Civil War and as the Chief of Army Staff. It is fair to say that as Chief of Army Staff, T.Y. set a standard by which succeeding chiefs have been judged. My childhood friend and classmate at Bida, General Abdusalam Abubakar, Audu for short, who has always stood by me, belongs to special class, if only because he now readily admits I am his elder brother. I also thank my boss and our immediate past president and colleague, General Muhammad Buhari, who sent a lovely note a few days ago apologizing for his inability to be with us. I'm delighted that he has asked one of his ministers to represent him on this occasion. Similarly, I thank His Excellency Professor Yemi Osinbajo, Nigeria's immediate past Vice President, who reviewed today's book with characteristics brilliance. I shall remain forever grateful to all governors of our states, distinguished senators and members of the House of Representatives, past and present. To our Royal Highnesses, I am deeply grateful for your presence. I understand the effort it takes to travel from your different domains to attend this event like this. Your presence adds a unique and esteemed perspective to this event, and I pray for your safe return home. My deep appreciation of your presence and support is that of the captains of industry of our illustrious private sector will be eternally on record. The Board of Trustees of Presidential Library will find befitting ways of permanently acknowledging your support in the envisaged facility. Talking of captains of industry, how do I thank my son, Abdul Samad Rabiu? He has shown enduring commitment to this event and the library project from day one. Thank you very much, Abdul Samad. To the rest of this distinguished audience, drawn as I can see from different parts of the country, I thank you from the depth of my heart as representatives of our people, especially those who are unable to be here, some of whom have managed to reach out to me since the details of today's events were made public. I'm humbled by your presence and the interest you have shown in my memoirs and the library project. No matter our points of origin in the Nigerian encounter, we all share experience of a fascinating national journey. Ours is the story of a thrilling past, an engaging present, and a most promising future. Today's event reminds us that we are not just here to remember the past, but to actively shape the present and envision a bright future with hope. A future that each one of you, with your unique perspectives and contributions, will help to build. The first aspect of today's event is the public presentation which has been done. This memoir, a culmination of over 3 decades of reflection, significantly contributed to our understanding of our national history. Throughout the public presentation of this book, I believe I am paying a huge part of my debt to public. I have had to contend with this question all the time. When will you tell your side of the story? Understandably, our period of service has somehow evoked, and rightly so, many questions and stories among our public. This book, which chronicles my experiences, decisions, and challenges during our national service, tries to answer some of these questions from my modest perspective. My colleagues in arms and I presided over significant change and turbulent reform. We confronted monumental challenges in the economy, the polity, foreign affairs and defense, and security spheres of our national life. We surmounted obstacles, sought change from old ways, encountered unusual obstacles, and devised innovative solutions. We all thought to leave Nigeria a better place than we found it, often at a great personal sacrifice and in the face of significant challenges. I'm deeply aware of the inconveniences and sacrifices the public endured during this period, and I acknowledge and appreciate their resilience and commitment to progress. Although the reform caused inconveniences to our people, we built lasting national institutions, some of which are still in place today. Undoubtedly, credible, free, and fair elections were held on June 12, 1993. However, the tragic irony of history remains that the administration that devised a near-perfect electoral system and conducted those near-perfect elections could not complete the process. That accident of history is most regrettable. The nation is entitled to expect my impression of regret. As the leader of the military administration, I accept full responsibility for all decisions taken under my watch. And June 12 happened under my watch. Mistakes, oversights, and missteps happen in quick succession. But I say in my book, in all matters we acted in the supreme national interest so that Nigeria could survive. Our nation's march to democracy was interrupted, a fact that I deeply regret, but Nigeria survived and democracy is still alive, a testament to our resilience and commitment to progress. This book is part of my personal story of that encounter with national history. I did not travel alone. I undertook the challenging work of leadership in the company of many patriots. Many are still here, while others have gone the way of all the flesh. I cannot name all our allies and fellow travelers, but let me acknowledge the contributions of men like late Augustus Ihomu, Commodore Ebitu Ukiwe, General Ike Nwachukwu, Professor Bolaji Akinyemi, Dr. Kalu Idika Kalu, Dr. Tunji Olagunju, Chief Olufalaye Nahu Kabesi, the late Professor Oje Tunji Aboyade. By the way, he was an outstanding man. The late Alhaji Rilwanu Lukman, the late Professor Humphrey Umosu, the late Professor Omo Omorui, the late Professor Gorian Ezekwe, the late Professor Tam David West, the late Professor Babatunde Papumwa, the late Professor Wali Koye Ramsan Kuti, the late Dr. Shatima Mustafa, the late Alhaji Bunu Sharif Musa, the late Rear Admiral Patrick Koshoni, Lieutenant General Alani Akinyade, General Ali Gusau, General Haliru Akilu, the former Senate President Brigadier David Mack, Brigadier General Tunde Ogweha, Colonel Abubakar Nengiwa Umar, the late UK Bello, the late General Nuhu Gomaji, Colonel Sambo Desuki, and a whole list of prominent colleagues and friends of all of them, fellow travelers in the challenging work of leadership. The second aspect of today's event is establishing a befitting library, which I consider a tribute to history and a contribution to the world of knowledge and leadership. In this regard, I thank my friend and family member, our former Vice President, Namadi Sambo, who created a unique architectural design for the Presidential Library on my 80th birthday. I'm getting to 84. As you can see from the program details, it is an outstanding design. Thank you, Mr. Vice President. As leaders, our activities belong to history in the form of written records. These records will serve as evidence in chief for posterity long after we have gone. The proposed presidential library, which will house these records, would be a lasting tribute to our period of national service and a resource for future leaders and scholars to learn from our experience and decisions. As I understand it, members of the library board have in mind is a library as not a museum where treasured historical documents and books are left to dust. The plan is more of an interactive center for lively exchange among people of different backgrounds and generations. Once again, I sincerely appreciate and ensure your presence at this gathering. Your participation and the conversation following this event will undoubtedly contribute to better Nigeria. I'm grateful for your support and look forward to our shared journey towards brighter future. The task of recovering memory can never be easy. As I said in my acknowledgement pages in the book, apart from my publishers, Messrs. Bookcraft, headed by Mr. Bonkole Olaebi, in writing this book, I acquired debts of gratitude to several other persons that deserve mention. Dr. Yemi Ogumbi, otherwise Dr. Activity, Dr. Chidi Amuta, Mr. Abiola Phillips, Mr. Clement Fajimoku, and Mr. Toby Shenoy gave generously of their time, experience, and resourcefulness, not just in the area of research, but also in painstaking editorial work. I thank Mr. Oladimeji Bajela for the book's beautiful design. Yemi Ogumbi's unwavering commitment to ensuring the expert production of the book and his tireless work towards realizing today's event will never be forgotten. Thank you, Dr. Activity. Yemi's effort and those of his colleagues were amply complemented by the commitment of other young friends and colleagues, such as Donald Duke, Rotimi Amechi, and Mr. Francis Ogoro, who made several trips to Mina for consultations in this project. My gratitude to these other friends who assisted in this program. Thinkers and persons of knowledge as possible, especially business, finance, and economics. I naturally started my consultation with those I had met practical contact with within the years. In this regard, I reached out to Professor Gabriel Olusanya. He impressed me greatly during my tenure at the National Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies. Through him, I expanded the contact of reputable Nigerians to consult on how best to design an appropriate economic reform agenda. In this regard, I contacted Professor Ojetunji Aboyade, Professor Ikenna Nzimiro, Chief Michael Omolaele, Professor Akimabo Gunje, and Dr. Chu Okongu. We could rely on the technocratic expertise and vast bureaucratic experience of men like Olufalaye. Through Ike Nwachukwu, we had been since the military, when he was a military governor of Imo State. I engaged and incorporated Dr. Kalu Idika Kalu, who had done impressive work on the state's economy. Before that, he had worked at the World Bank and served at the Asian desk, where he garnered extensive knowledge on what became the Asian Tigers. In particular, his creative approach to rescuing the economy of Imo State made it possible and positive impression on me. Under the famed Imo formula, he excited me and I brought him to the federal level to help us with the economics of spending only what you have. Such prudent management and economic realism was what, in my view, our desperate economic situation required. What I found exciting respected each other, with each one you consulted and brought about on board. He had a string of other colleagues with similar experience to bring along. In little or no time, we had a virtual faculty of people with extensive ideas, vast experience, and diverse background. We interacted through series of dialogues and consultations in very enlightening sessions. We became more like a community of friends and colleagues, but we were united by our shared commitment to making Nigeria self-sufficient and workable. We had endless brainstorming sessions on different aspects of national life, especially the economy. I found brainstorming sessions very enlightening and refreshing. People brought their vast experiences to bear in the problems that face us then. In particular, I recall the insights of Professor Ikenna Nzimiro, who brought a lot of life to our sessions by relating our present problems to his experiences from the past. He would, for instance, ask me jovially, "Mr. President, how old are you?" And I told him one day that I was born in 1941. So he looked at me and laughed and said, "I was an activist in the Zikist National Vanguard when you were born." So, Mr. President and the Asuwaju of the universe and my elder brother, I want to thank you and thank all my other colleagues for having the time to be here with us. I really appreciate you, Mr. President. Thank you so much.